and welcome to the second episode of EuroMMAniacs. I think that's how it's pronounced, seeing as Marcel and I have came up in a name. If you've listened to last week's episode, you'll know that my name is Stephen Rae. I'm a writer at the Body Lock and most recently, as of last week, the Scrap News. And my co-host is Marcel Dorff from the Netherlands, and he owns MMA DNA, am I right, Marcel?
Yeah, co-owner, yeah.
Co-owner of MMA DNA, which is the leading Dutch source for everything MMA. And if you're on Twitter, you know who Marcel is. We are here today to talk about UFC 249 and everything Euro MMA. So today is Thursday. It's recently just turned Friday in our time zone, I believe. And the recent announcement of UFC 249 being postponed. Marcel, what do you think about that?
Yeah, what to think about it, man? I mean, that's crazy this week. Then we're getting a brand new card, after a tweet from Ariel Helvani, where Dana replied a fake tweet. Yeah, we're getting a complete card. Everything looked set, pretty much. When the fights were going to take place in the Tachi Palace in Lamar, California. And out of a sudden now it's postponed due to the COVID-19. Yeah, what can we say about it, man? I mean, I feel bad for the fighters, of course. They don't make a paycheck. They prepared so long for this probably, and what can you say? It's just this only has losers, I think, at the end of the day. And I don't say that I was pro this event to happen, because many people think because of the recent tweets I did, but I was more against the broadcast partner over here in the Netherlands who didn't want to broadcast the UFC. Due to the coronavirus, they thought it was ethically not fair, and I was like, who are you to decide for the fans what to watch, But in my opinion, it's probably the right move, I mean, you shouldn't put on sports events during how do you say that, pandemic, that's my opinion. Normally I understand people think different about it, but that's my opinion. And of course I was going to support the fighters fighting. Obviously I'm a fight fan, but listen, it just doesn't make sense to fight in this kind of period, in my opinion. But don't hate me for it. That was always my opinion, by the way. But go with the flow, I guess,
I agree with you, mate. Yeah, I was the same. My opinion's always been that there shouldn't be events with an ongoing global pandemic. Of course, the fighters want to get paid, and as we've discussed, the fighters deserve to get paid. And I believe that Dana White or somebody came out and said that the fighters who signed down to fight next weekend will be getting compensated, which is good. And like you said out there, there's people who believe that we are one side or the other side because of tweets we put out. Don't get me wrong, I believe every fighter who's scheduled to fight, or every fighter probably in the UFC should be getting paid during this time. There should be some sort of clause or something, or the fighter should establish like an Operation Spearhead type thing, but something that actually works this time. And something to get them paid during not just pandemics, but I mean if they fight cancellations and various things like this. So no, I think that fights should not be happening. Sports are off in general. Why is MMA any different? You know what I mean? If the NFL wasn't on, if the Barclays Premier League isn't on, why should the UFC be going on? I think Dana White is at the stage where he wants to be the hero here. He wants to be, look at me and my organization, I've made this work, and it was only a matter of time until ESPN or some higher governing body shut it down. Talks about a private island. Okay, it's cool. It sounds cool. It sounds funny. But that's like Mortal Kombat type shit. That is not something that you want to be seeing in reality. Dan Hooker and Puri were happy about it. I get that. And I'd love to see them two thrown down on a private island. Don't get me wrong. But when you think about it, and you just sit down and actually, that's the fan in me. But when you sit down as a human being and think, coronavirus, COVID-19 is going on right now, and we're going to fly, we're going to have 12 fights on a private island or that somewhere else in California. It's just ludicrous to me. So I think it was the right decision for ESPN to make, or whoever made the call. It's been reported as ESPN. So yeah, absolutely. I just think that having fights is just too much of a risk during this time.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I mean, for example, Rose Namajunas pulled out yesterday, and the reason behind it, Brian Butler, her manager, said because she had 2 people died in her family due to the coronavirus. So that might have said enough that is something to take seriously. And I don't say the UFC doesn't take it seriously, but we're trying to bend their way around this virus, and it's probably not a good thing to do. At the same time, the thing is, fighters just want to fight. Maybe there are probably 15% who absolutely want to fight whatever happens, But most of the fighters just want to fight because they make their paycheck. Because I even saw Jacare saying, like, I'm actually afraid to fight, but I have to fight to pay my rent or whatever. Or what, I don't know. So, I mean, I feel for them, definitely. But yeah, the union, but again, like I said in the last show, and what Keith said, the union only works when there are big stars going to be in that union. Big stars with a John Jones, a Conor McGregor, a Daniel Cormier, and Amanda Nunes right now. Name them, the big stars, the Israel Adesanya, the guys who are making the big money right now. But most of those guys making the big money in the UFC, they have enough money, so there's no need for them to get a union, right? So that's the thing. If somebody like a top 10 or top 15 bantamweight says, like, I'm going to start a union in the UFC, it's like, yeah, great, we have 14 others of you. Maybe that's not even true, but that's how they probably will react. They don't give a shit. But yeah, it's just all around. It just sucks, and it sucks for the fighters most, in my opinion. And I feel for them. For example, I don't know if you guys saw Bilal Muhammad's tweet that he's like, I train 3 times a day. I've been preparing so much, and have you if you're happy now. I mean, I understand his feelings about it, definitely. I mean, and then people are gonna try to reason with him, like, yeah, don't you think the virus? Those fighters have prepared so long for this, Don't try to give them a logic explanation why. They don't want to hear that right now, And just sucks. What can I say? There's actually nothing else to say than it just sucks.
Exactly, man. I agree. And as we were discussing last week about your Israel Adesanyas and Daniel Cormiers, they've got the money. They don't need to. They're not willing to come and support the mid-tier level athletes. But jumping onto you mentioned Rose Namajunas, a name who pulled out due to 2 members of her family dying from coronavirus, which is, thoughts and prayers go out to her family as well as everybody else in the world, not just combat sports, dealing with this crisis. But I seen something on, I believe it was Reddit or Twitter, and this is what a MMA fan who, as we know, MMA fans are notorious for being the best and the worst fans in the world at the same time. An MMA fan put upon hearing the news of Rose pulling out the fight, and I quote, "Death certificates or she's lying. She was okay with fighting with these 2 family members in the hospital last week, and today they both died. Something doesn't add up." I mean, that's just the epitome of an MMA fan, isn't it? There's 2 sides to MMA Twitter, right? I want to say that there's most of MMA Twitter is good. You know what I mean? It's good banter back and forth. There's smart people in there. They know what they're talking about, and then you just get scum of the earth like that who are trying to come out and say that Rose Namajunas, a professional cage fighter, by the way, who's held the title, is scared of fighting somebody, so she's pulled out, and this is her excuse.
The funny thing actually is, when she fought Andrade, she was the better fighter, but she got dropped on her head and she was knocked out. She completely owned her in the first round. But the thing is, Rose doesn't have to give anybody an explanation, honestly. If you are not willing to work, or you are sick, or you have some private issues, you go to your boss and you tell what's up, and that's between your boss and you. So it's between Dana White and Rose, what she said, and that's okay. We haven't to do anything with that, in my opinion. That the manager made a statement. He probably did it because some people were bashing Rose, and they are like, let's give the true story so we can stop this bullshit, But they don't have to give us actually an explanation, That's my opinion. So yeah, I mean, it's just all around stupid, and most of those MMA fans who talk crap don't even use their real name on the internet.
Exactly.
They are like fanboy, fangirl 2239456782210 or something. So it doesn't make sense. Mostly, listen, if those people, I have many people who try to reply all the time or talk to me with a Twitter name like that. If you do normal, you get a normal reaction from me back. If you do weird or you talk shit about a fighter, I just ignore you. You know, I'm not gonna. It doesn't make sense.
Exactly, man. And like you said, this Rose's personal family matter. Obviously, a statement was released, and it's the utmost truth, and it's a serious situation. And people are still gonna try and say she was finding a way out of the fight. As you said, go back and watch her fight with Jessica Andrade. That first round is one of the most dominant rounds in probably in a championship fight, not just women's MMA. I mean, if that went the full 5 rounds, I guarantee you she was 50-45, or maybe 50-44. That would have been one of the most dominant championship fights in UFC history, and I believe that.
I remember, I'm not biased by any means because I like both those girls, but I was kind of upset, man, that she lost in that way, you know, because she was the much better fighter in that fight, and she got dropped, and that whole fight flipped totally, and Andrade won the championship back then. And not that I didn't want Andrade to win, but I always have those. It's the same with Overeem against Rosenstruck, for example. Overeem owned that whole fight. In the last 3 seconds, he gets knocked out. I mean, that's great for the guy who won, you know, for Rosenstruck. He's a cool guy, so I have no problem with him winning. But that's also like bittersweet. I had the same thing with Rodriguez against Korean Zombie, for example, you know. In my opinion, Korean Zombie was leading 4-1 in that fight.
Yeah.
And then Rodriguez knocked him out with 1 second left. I mean, it's a great knockout. It was probably knockout of the year, but it's kind of a bittersweet thing that when you see a guy fighting another guy who is clearly better, but then get knocked out in the last second. Just, what that's MMA, you know?
Exactly, man. That's MMA, and then, you know what I mean? You've got Chael Sonnen and Anderson Silva number 1 to throw in there. I mean...
True, but I didn't mind about that one.
I mean, I don't think any of us did, but because Chael Sonnen's little gimmick back to this day as well, but back then he wasn't the most liked. But no, like that's another example of just dominant display. But MMA just doing MMA, last second, last minute wins. So absolutely, and
you know, for a long time I thought maybe Anderson just played with Chael and he stopped him in the 5th round. But then after that we saw many times that Anderson really had problems with wrestlers, you know?
That's true.
So it was a Hail Mary submission.
No, true, exactly, it was. And I'm not gonna lie, after obviously he submitted Chael Sonnen in the first fight, the second fight, I mean, it's understandable why when he thought Chael was gonna do the same and not get caught in a submission this time, but Silva he owned that second fight.
Yeah. True.
And then obviously met the fate of Chris Weidman, who many thought Weidman would take him down, was unable to do so, but that one punch, let's not speak of that. That still haunts me at night as well. But yeah, no, so COVID-19 kind of rocking the sport world, the MMA world as a whole. Let's just take UFC 249 as a card right now, Marcel. Let's say it was going ahead next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts and your opinion on Gaethje versus Ferguson? Tony Ferguson accepting yet another short notice opponent, and Gaethje actually, hats off to him, stepping in there against the boogeyman that is Tony Ferguson.
The thing is that Ferguson wasn't training for a long time, and Gaethje was probably training, but he wasn't training for a fight. At least not a championship fight, caliber fight, you know, against a guy like Ferguson. He wasn't training for that one. So the thing is, I think both guys are great fighters, but Gaethje can crack. We all know that, and we know Ferguson can take it. And if he gets hit, he always gonna make those how do you say that? Those flips on the ground. I don't know.
The forward rolls.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know if he could have taken Gaethje's hard shots, you know. But I think if it was past the first or second round, probably Ferguson would have taken over. So I would have picked Ferguson to win the fight, probably via decision or a late stoppage. But it would have been a fun fight, I think. So, but on the other hand, Ferguson deserved to fight Khabib. So I just want to see that fight. Just make that fight again. I don't give a fuck. If it gets cancelled for the 6th time, make it for the 7th time. I want to see that fight.
For me, well, I heard reports that the UFC actually told Justin Gaethje to almost, you know what I mean, prepare as a backup, even though he never said he would. Apparently he was being, and don't take my word for these reports. Obviously they're reports for a reason, they're just rumours and that he was going to get paid for being a backup, whether he knew to fill in or not. And it is reported that a week and a half ago he was sparring with Drew Dober. It was just them two and two other coaches. So that's interesting. You know, Drew Dober is a dark horse in the division. He's on the outskirts of the top 15 now, but I think he'll make his way in there slowly but surely. But yeah, so Gaethje versus Ferguson was a very intriguing fight. You know, I know we're not supposed to be biased as media members, but I'm a huge Tony Ferguson fan. Who isn't? You know, I mean, I think the guy's so unorthodox and he's so creative, and he just finds ways to win and come back. I think the Gaethje fight would have been pivotal, not just for Ferguson in his career, but us fans. Ferguson's shown he's got a chin, but he's 36 years old now. He's taking punch after punch after punch. Can he take Gaethje? Can he take that crack? And after watching his performances against Showtime, Pettis and Cerrone, I'm not convinced, because look how his knee, he came back after a catastrophic knee injury against Showtime. And Showtime kind of gave him some issues with that knee there. He was kind of, walking on it a bit thingy. Gaethje's leg kicks, they're self-explanatory. If you take a few leg kicks of Gaethje, that's your leg busted. Unless you're Dustin Poirier and you just push through it like an absolute goddamn savage. Yeah. So yeah, no, I think that it would have been a tough fight for Tony. I agree with you that I would have picked Tony just because I've learned not to count him out. 12-fight win streak for a reason. He would have gotten the late stoppage. However, I have to disagree with you on the rebooking Tony versus Khabib. I believe the fight is not meant to happen. I believe if you take combat sports, or any sports for general, right? If I asked you who the greatest fighter was of all time, or the greatest person in this division, there's always a debate. You know what I mean? Who's the greatest mixed martial arts of all time? You might say John Jones, I'll say George St. Pierre. Greatest boxer, you might say Muhammad Ali, I'll say Sugar Ray Robinson. The point is that debate, there's supposed to be debate. And it's almost like the MMA gods up there know that if Tony versus Khabib happens, the number one lightweight will take his place. The number one lightweight will be unveiled. That'll be it. There'll be no other discussions. Okay, 2, 3, 4, and 5's up to debate still. But the number one will either be the winner of Khabib versus Tony. It's one of the two. And I'm quite happy with that. I'm quite happy with that debate staying around long past their retirement. I'm quite content if the fight doesn't happen. Because quite frankly to me, the number one lightweight of all time, it still is BJ Penn in his prime. And as a big BJ Penn fan, I'm fine with that. But I think the fight's cursed. What's five times now? I just think that's it. You've got to put the nail in the coffin and just kind of think to yourself, that's it. We've tried. It's the best fight to make, but it's just not gonna come through in the end.
Yeah, man, I'm still having my hopes up. I don't know. The thing is, I'm not that disappointed like many people when a fight gets cancelled or it doesn't happen. You know, I know many people around me are getting really upset when a fight gets cancelled or whatever. People get very upset, man. But I've learned through the years, like, don't focus on one fight on a card. You know, if you focus on one fight and that's the thing you're pumped about, and that fight falls through, you're kind of sad that it's not going to happen. But you have many good fights on the card all the time. Just go for the. I say that as well to people who go to events. When people buy tickets for events, they are like, I want to see that fight. And when that fight falls through, they are like, yeah, now I don't give a fuck anymore. Don't buy a ticket if you go for one fight. Yeah, if you go for boxing, maybe, you know, when there's one big fight or there's a huge fight, you know, then they go for one fight a ticket. But don't do that for MMA, man. Buy a ticket if you love the sport, if you want to see more of the sport. Enjoy the fights, you know, because nothing is guaranteed that a fight will happen until both guys get into the cage.
Exactly, man. It makes my blood boil when people take up ticket space and arena space just for looking to go see one fight, where fans like us, and I'm sure everybody listening to the podcast, actually want to sit and watch all 12 fights, but we can't get into the arena because there's no more tickets because of the people that you said, they're just there to watch the main event, which I know you have fans like that, but it's disappointing.
Can you imagine that when the first time in Rotterdam was from the first fight was almost full, but the second time in Rotterdam, the card was, in the general opinion, was not as good as the first one. I didn't really agree, but okay. And then most people came in around Michel Prazeres against Matt Burnell. That meant they missed Zabit's UFC debut. You missed Zabit's UFC debut. Imagine you visited UFC 87 with John Jones' debut against Andre Gusmao. And like 7 years later, he is probably the best light heavyweight of all time. We can probably say that. And then people asking like, what was your first UFC event you visited? UFC 87. Oh, great. You saw John Jones live. No, I came in like 2 fights after him because he was in the prelims and I didn't know who he was.
Exactly. I mean, I've got a similar experience. When I was in UFC Calgary in 2018, it was headlined by Eddie Alvarez versus Dustin Poirier 2. A card Dana White actually put together for his birthday, which was quite good as a fan. It was a very entertaining card. First fight of the night, Herrera versus Devin Powell, who's now over in Bellator.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, there must have been no more than a few hundred people at the time. And that was a fun fight. Devin Powell was getting tagged. Go back and watch that fight on Fight Pass. He should have lost that fight, but he rallied back. He rallied back again, and he found a way to win. And that was the first fight of the night. And I kind of knew at that moment it's going to be good. It's going to be a good card. And things didn't start getting. The arena didn't start getting busy up until the just after the Ross Pearson John McDessie fight, which by the way was fight of the night, and that wasn't even full then. It wasn't even full for the fight of the night. I was ludicrous, but it was ludicrous. But it started getting full probably for the Joanna Jędrzejczyk fight, which was the third last fight, which is crazy when you think about it. You know what I mean? It's the third last fight, the fight before the co-main event, and then it's only starting to get full. I mean, it kind of just shows you what some fans are like out there.
Yeah, I never get that, man. I mean, if I want to go, but that's MMA fan in me, man. If I go to a card, I want to have the full experience, you know? I mean, even when, as a local event, you have like maybe 2 or 3 pro fights and all the others are amateurs. I just go the whole card. I watch the amateurs as well. I don't care.
Same with me.
So, I mean, it's entertainment. It's fights. Why wouldn't I want to watch it, you know?
But at the end of the day, if you're paying for the ticket, go see what you want. I completely get it with people. But yeah, true. And as for European MMA at the moment, I mean, it looks like European MMA promotions like Cage Warriors, KSW, ACB, I feel like they're going to get back on track a bit later than the UFC and Bellator. What's your opinions on that, Marcel?
Yeah, probably same, man. Those organizations are a little bit more, how do you say that? I don't get the right word, but they are waiting a little bit more probably than the UFC is probably the organization who comes back soonest from, excuse me, from the well-known organizations. Maybe one championship as well because they're in Asia, but I'm not gonna include Asia in this one because Asia was first with the COVID-19, so they probably can start earlier than everywhere else, you know. But and also one championship has they had 2 events planned for this month. They behind closed doors, and they postponed those 2. Actually, it's cancelled because there was not one fight announced so far. It was postponed, just cancelled. Yeah, I don't know, man. I expect the UFC to be the first again, probably to start with events again when they can. Dana said if he wanted to do the fight on next Saturday, he could have done it. I think if he really could have done it, he would have done it. So
do I.
So, yeah.
What can you do? Exactly. No, I feel like if Uncle Dana, he was saying that we were all running scared of the virus and he'd be out there looking for a solution. If he's really that guy, keep that same energy. Make that card go ahead. If you said that you're going to stop at nothing to make the card go ahead or something along those lines, get out and do that. Keep that same energy. When you get told with the big boys to stop, you know what I mean? If you said that you can keep going, go. Don't stop. If you can really, if that's what you were saying prior. So yeah, I believe that if that was the case, he would have pushed forward. But at the end of the day, it's kind of out of the UFC brass's control. I think it was the higher powers, the higher sanctioning bodies, ESPN's bosses that kind of said, look, it's almost a bit stupid to go ahead. It reflects on ESPN in a negative light. But I'm already getting sick of the replays on ESPN and the.
I don't watch them.
Neither do I. But I mean, I see them pop up on Twitter. Vote for the top 10 best knockouts. Vote for the top. And you've got all the Conor spam boys spamming Conor versus Diaz 2, the best fight. Conor versus Diaz 2, the best fight. Like, Conor versus Diaz 2 wasn't even the best fight that month. No, well, probably the best that month. Okay, maybe.
Guys gassed after the 3rd round.
Exactly. Best maybe the best second. Oh, sorry guys, I'm muddling up my words. I get this when I get in a bit of a rampage. It wasn't even the best fight of the year. You know what I mean? And like you said, both guys gassed after the first. Nate teed off on him, got close to stopping it, and then it was all sloppy. So I kind of feel we're just going to see a lot more of the COVID-19 going on, a lot more of ESPN and that trying to get their money's worth replaying fights and trying to grab more subscribers while they can.
Yeah, I mean, the reruns. Listen, man, I have my DVDs. UFC still over here. I have my Fight Pass. If I want to see something, I'm just look it up. But, for example, when they, how do you say that? When they did that, what was it? UFC 239 card, that rerun. And they are like live tweeting about it. And then, was like, Chiesa was fighting, Sanchez, right? And, Chiesa was also tweeting about it. And I was like, dude, you're next level. You're fighting and you're tweeting. Wow. And so he retweeted it and he's like, yeah, it's a gift. And then someone under the tweet is like, dude, this is not live. I was like, yeah, of course it's not live. I understand it. I'm not stupid, you know?
Oh yeah, no, you get your people out there like that. We were just chatting about that earlier on. Like to point out the obvious. No, I found it. I actually I didn't watch the live rerun on UFC Fight Pass. I already watched that card countless times in the past. But you log on. Oh no, sorry, wait, I actually think I did watch it. And then I go on my Instagram and I just see and still Amanda Nunes, and they're acting like it's the first time we've all seen this card, and you've got people in the comments acting shocked that John Jones won, and like come on, let's just give up the bit. Let's just give it up for a second. We've all seen it. We all know what happened. There's no need to act like it's live.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
so I want to know, what do you think about completely different topic, the Paige Van Zandt Austin Vandervoort picture?
Well, let's just say, for starters, I feel like Austin Vandervoort is getting done dirty with the Mr. Van Zandt shirt. I mean, personally, all I'm saying is I don't care if my wife was Paige Van Zandt or not. I ain't taking Mr. Van Zandt. But the pictures, I mean, it's smart. I mean, it gets publicity for them both. I think Paige Van Zandt's now known more as almost like a Dancing with the Stars, like reality type star person than she is an Instagram model more than she is fighting now. I think Austin Vandervoort, I think he doesn't mind that he's making a lot of money and he's actually getting more fans off of his wife, which, do you know what though? If I was in the same position as him, that's fine. You know what I mean? You're getting more exposure because of your wife's fake boobs,
Dude,
and because she's good at taking photos.
If you made those fucking pictures, I'll fucking block you, dude.
I'll make them just for you, Marcel. I'll get some out tomorrow.
No, I think TMI.
I think the pictures though, yeah, no, I think they're weird. They're quite weird, to be honest.
I've kind of the feeling that Paige Van Zandt wants her Instagram number one ranking back from Valerie Loreda or something. I don't
know. 100%. She wants that title back. It's Valerie Loreda and it's Rachel Ostovich up there as well. That's the top three of them. But yeah, no, and by the way, I'm not being a creep, guys. I'm just pointing out the obvious of what MMA Twitter put out there. But yeah, no, I just think, I mean, the one with the wine glass and the books and the one's covering, alright, I get what they're doing. Then you get the one of Paige Van Zandt like carrying Austin Vandervoort in the back. I'm like, what's going on here? Like, can we just stop? Like, Instagram is child-friendly site and things like that. Let's just tone it down a bit. You're a fighter, you're not. If you want to go watch that stuff, there's explicit websites for that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind something, but do it a little bit more subtle, in my opinion. I mean, it's, I like it more subtle than that kind of stuff. That's my opinion. But for everybody who wants, there's something on Instagram, I guess. And we're not creeping or something. I mean, I'm not going to tell you what I do on Instagram, so I only tell you what the obvious ones. So, no, I was just kidding. I mean, yeah, just kind of weird, you know. It's like that the pandemic does really weird things with some people, I guess, to get some more attention on Instagram. But yeah.
Well, some more breaking news is 25 minutes ago, Dana White confirmed on Instagram Live that Fight Island, he actually promised that Fight Island will proceed, and confirms that UFC 249 is just simply postponed. I mean, personally, I feel like if you're talking postponed, it's not going to be within the next month or two. You're talking the second half of the year, in my opinion. And this whole Fight Island talk, I mean, I've already given my views on it. I just think it's quite stupid, really.
It makes me think of Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee and with John Saxton and with, you know, when, you know that scene with that dude with that scar over his face, which gonna fight Bruce Lee, and then he takes those 2 bottles, and he's like, and that boss is like, Ohara! That makes me think of that, man, that fight island. I don't know what to think about it. I mean, it's good for the fighters if they can still make their money and can fight, but it gotta be safe. You know, it gotta be safe. It should be with good health. I think that's what we all want, and I mean that's what sane people want. Let's put it that way. And yeah, and I see myself as a sane person.
Well, I'm going to completely switch up the topic now and give the listeners who are here to listen to some European stuff, European MMA. Who do you think, Marcel, has the best chance of becoming a world champion in any of the major mixed martial arts promotions? Either this year, the next year, or just which European prospect first? And that can be within Bellator, PFL, One Championship, any of the major promotions.
Well, PFL sounds some good names, you know. Brandon Loughnane, for example. Some very good Russians are also there. So they have the two champions, I think, 2 Russian guys who got champion last time. I know Isaev and Magomed Karimov was the year before that. The Dagestani M&M, I call them all the time. So enough, man. I mean, you really put me on the spot right now because I didn't thought about it. But there are some good European MMA is getting better and better, I think. And you see that stand up for years, in my opinion, the American game has been dominated by a lot of wrestling and by Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I think the stand up is getting better coming through MMA. But if you can only do stand up fighting, you gotta have a good takedown defense. Look how far Joanna Jędrzejczyk got with a good takedown defense, you know, because our ground game isn't that great, as we all know, but our takedown defense is on top level. And that's something, if you come from a stand-up background, make sure you have a good takedown defense. That's really important.
Yeah, I mean, Adesanya is the embodiment of that, really.
Yeah.
Jędrzejczyk's a good example, but I mean, we haven't really seen Adesanya to ground a lot. I mean, we've seen him kind of go to ground with it. Was it the Derek Brunson? No, sorry, the Kelvin Gastelum fight.
Gastelum, yeah.
And I mean, he showed that he was quite offensive off his back. He was momentarily throwing on triangles and things like that. He was always moving, but we couldn't really see the full extent of him there, you know, because it was quite a slippery fight at that time. Both guys were rocked. It was just kind of, it wasn't a very technical exchange on the ground. But yeah, Israel Adesanya, like you said, top class, world class kickboxer, and then he comes over to MMA and he knows what he's got to do. He works in that takedown defense because the fight's standard. That's where he needs it. That's where he wants it. And he knows that if he wants to get to the top and show off his kickboxing skills, he needs to have a elite level takedown defense, which I think he has. And I think people thought that Yoel Romero would kind of blow that out of the water, but Yoel Romero's not really been a good wrestler when you transfer it into MMA. I mean, he's got great wrestling skills. Came second in the Olympics in 2000, which, I mean, that was before I was born, right, guys? Just think about that. Yoel Romero won an Olympic medal before I was born, and he's just competed for a UFC title.
You're a young boy.
I'm a young boy, but he's an old boy. I mean, it was his birthday the other week, wasn't it? And I was thinking, how old is he? I mean, he's like 43. Is he 43 though? Is he 43? Luis Ortiz, the boxer from Cuba, same thing. Oh, they say he's like, 42. Is he though? He could easily be 50. So, my point is that, we're kind of going a bit off topic, but yeah, Adesanya, Jędrzejczyk, fighters like that, even Jose Aldo. I mean, Jose Aldo has a pretty good ground game, as we know already. He's got a very good ground game. But he has elite level takedown defense. He's known for his takedown defense. I mean, and even if you want to chuck in somebody who's not really known for that takedown defense, Irene Aldana, the third ranked bantamweight at the moment, she just knocked out Ketlin Vieira. She's got the highest takedown defense in UFC history, 95.8%, I believe. So fighters like that who are excellent punchers and great stand-up artists, they kind of need to possess this great takedown defense, like you mentioned, to kind of sway the fight and keep it where they want it.
Yeah.
But yeah, as to who will become the champion first out of a European prospect, I'm kind of leaning a bit on Brendan Loughrane a bit for the PFL. I think he'll make the finals. He said that he wants to be the first person to defeat Lance Palmer in the PFL. Who Lance Palmer, actually, if you guys don't know, he's back-to-back PFL champion, so that's him made at least $2 million in the space of 2 years. He's had offers from the UFC and Bellator, but he obviously isn't making as much money over there as he is in the PFL. I think Brendan Loughrane can give him a run for his money, to be honest.
If you want to beat Lance Palmer, you gotta get a good takedown defense, man.
Exactly. He's relentless on his takedowns. Like, if you watch the championship finals this year, well, the year just went by and the year before that, you'd see his takedowns. You know what I mean? He's known for his grappling. He's known for his powerful takedowns, and he's just, when he's on top, I'm sure you agree, Marcel, he's somebody you do not want to have on top of you at all.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. I'm still salty we didn't saw Lance Palmer against Mavlit Khaybulaev, man. I mean, Khaybulaev lost to Pineda, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was absolutely not expected. I mean, I didn't just expect that at all. So that kind of sucks. But yeah, I mean, Brendan Loughrane, let's be honest, man. Dude should have got a UFC contract in the Contender Series. It's like that was the last season. Stupid not giving a contract, and before that one was Chris Curtis, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So it's like there's always one guy in the season. It's always on the first episode, by the way. So, I don't know. I wonder who's getting screwed this year if they even do the Contender Series because of the COVID right now. So I don't know.
Well, Brendan Loughrane, he was actually pissing blood after that Contender Series win as well. And then Chris Curtis, you want to bring him up? He retired after it. Got signed to the PFL. I'm pretty sure he knocked out he got knocked out by somebody, I forget the name. Retired.
Ray Cooper III.
It was before the Ray Cooper fight.
Yeah, true. That was the second.
It's when you had to fight twice a night in October. He retired, and he got told, "Can you fill in to fight Ray Cooper in 20 odd minutes or something like that?" Which is crazy.
Yeah.
And then he gets knocked out and then retires again. I mean, and apparently he's still fighting. It was just an emotional decision and everything, which is understandable. He's a great fighter, but yeah, he should have been signed to the UFC. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Another person I think would have been signed to the UFC if he didn't win this past year was Ray Cooper. I think Ray Cooper, personally, he's one of my favourites to watch. I mean, he always comes to bang, and he's got good accuracy and power. I think if he got signed to the UFC, I don't think he'd be a top 15 all the way. He doesn't possess all the skills to go all the way. And that's no knock on him. But what he does good is keeping the fight on the feet and punching a hole through people's head. And when he does that, you're not going to stop him. I think if he came to the UFC, he could hang with people like Danny Roberts. You know what I mean? I'd like to see him against actually someone like Mike Perry. Michel Pereira, which Michel Pereira just came off the fight of the year with Diego Sanchez. I'm only joking. That was a weird fight. But yeah, and but the PFL at the moment, I know we're going a bit off topic, guys. Not quite European MMA, but the PFL at the moment, I mean, oh my word, the signings they're making. I mean, Rory McDonald's just jumped across as well. We said Brendan Loughrane, you've got Ray Cooper in there, Magomed Karimov in there. You've got Natan Schulte in there, who many think could be a top 5 lightweight. I wouldn't say top 5, but he'd definitely be in the top 10. Yeah. So you've got a lot of former UFC, Bellator veterans, or just up and coming prospects who can seriously go all the way.
Even signed Cesar Ferreira, so yeah.
So who's kind of didn't have the best UFC run, especially in his later years, but he's he can make some money over there. I've actually here's a question for you. Do you know how much PFL fighters make just during the playoffs in the standard division, not in the finals?
I did put an article out about that. Let me check.
Because I've always been intrigued to know that, because obviously $1 million is quite lucrative, but people like Rory McDonald wouldn't be going over to fights for diddly squat. They must be making some decent money still.
Let me check. I don't know. Let's see. The first time I put out an article, why the hell I don't see that? Let me check. Here it is. So I don't know about the 2 season fights. I have no idea. But the guys in the quarterfinals, the losing quarterfinals, getting $50,000. The losing semifinalist getting $100,000. The losing finalist gets $200,000, and the champion obviously gets $1 million. But I don't know in the regular season. That's just contractual a certain amount of money, but I don't know what that is.
I mean, that's pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah.
100,000 for making it through in the quarters or semi. I forget what you said. That's quite good money. That's better than what I expected them to be paying, to be honest. So fair play to the PFL for giving fighters. Well, I personally think fighters are worth more than that, but giving them more than what the UFC are paying some of the fighters in Bellator and One Championship.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I agree, definitely. I mean, we all agree that fighters get not enough paid for what they are doing. But yeah, I mean, it's not boxing. You know, boxing gets a lot more when you're a top guy. You see what Mayweather or Pacquiao gets paid when they fight each other. So, I mean, if you put, for example, a John Jones against a Daniel Cormier again, they don't come even close to those kind of numbers.
Exactly. So I understand you get paid for the number. Obviously, the whole numbers thing, that's a different thing. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. Boxing's an older sport. It's been around for longer. It's been corrupt for much longer. But that's a different story. But absolutely, yeah, you've got multiple billionaires owning various promotions, and they have their fingers in all different pots. But yeah, Marcel, just a personal question for you. Obviously, we're still stuck in quarantine.
Yeah.
What are you doing this week? What are you doing anything different from the last time we spoke to keep occupied, keep busy?
Well, we have a semi lockdown over here, like I said last time, and I still have to do my job. You know, I'm a mailman, 5 days a week, so I deliver mail with bicycle, and yeah, I'm just having to go through to every door delivering packages as well. So I'm not how do you say that, locked up at home or something, you know. The rule is like you have to a certain amount of distance from other people, you know.
Social distancing.
Yeah, exactly. And don't go. They say don't go out if you don't have to go out, you know. But you can go out if you want, and I have to because I have to work. It's very simple, you know. I can't stay at home. Yeah, if I'm sick, I can stay at home. If I have a cold, I can stay at home. But when I'm healthy, I just have to work. I had lots of work this week, man. So I've been busy. That's why I see many guys putting out lots of articles, lots of interviews and stuff. Really don't have the time for it. For me, it's just normal. It's not normal outside because it's very quiet, but it's normal for me. You know, I just have to do my work. So there's nothing changing there. Only that I have more packages to deliver because people are fucking bored at home and they are like, oh, let's order that. Let's order that. Let's order that. And oh yeah, let's order that. And also like many cards to elderly people, you know, because they can't visit them because it's not good for those elderly people to get in contact with the younger ones and maybe getting the coronavirus. So they're sending lots of cards, and I'm like, just pick up a phone and call them, man. Don't get me more work. Yeah, I'm just being a dick now, but that's how I feel. But yeah, what about you, dude?
Well, we're in, I think it's classed as full lockdown over here for just over 2 weeks now. Come Tuesday, it was 2 weeks. But the same as you, we can go out for essential things. So big shopping, you're allowed an hour of exercise a day, which obviously I'm making the most of. It's quite funny when I go out on my daily jogging route. I see people who I've never seen before. Older people out jogging or just walking, making the most of it. Which, you know what, fair play to them. I mean, you've got to keep sane. You've got to get some sunshine. You've got to be out. You can't be cooked up in your house all day. It's not good for you mentally or physically. But yeah, no, I think there's been a few cases that the police have fined some people for breaking lockdown rules.
Yeah.
Leaving the house multiple times a day. They've been caught by the police doing it. Apparently, I've heard different things. I've heard the fine's £40. I've heard somebody got fined £250. Who knows what report's real, but people are getting fined. And I don't know if you're aware, our Prime Minister at the moment, Boris Johnson, he's got COVID-19 and his conditions, I mean, it was worsening, it was getting a bit better, it was worsening, so it's been up down. So he's in hospital at the moment, so it just kind of proves that nobody's invincible.
Yeah, I wish him all best, but he was very smart 2 weeks ago by shaking coronavirus patients' hands at the hospital while everybody told him not to do it. And he's like, yeah, but those are people. I'm going to shake their hands. And now he is infected by it. I mean, Very smart. I always pretty much call him a discount Donald Trump, but disrespect, by the way. But I don't know. But I wish him all the best. I hope he recovers, of course, man. I mean, that sucks, but it's just kind of, every country has different rules, you know. In Sweden, for example, there was no lockdown at all. People are just going out in restaurants and all, you know, because over there they're saying like it doesn't do anything to do it to have a lockdown. So and we have here a semi-lockdown, or how our prime minister says, a smart lockdown. But I don't think he's that smart, so I don't know if you can say smart lockdown. It's not I'm not a big fan of his, by the way. So I mean, they have how do you say that? They took so much money away from how do you say that? From elderly houses for people to who need help, you know. They took so much money away and put it in other things. And I mean, and now they are like, yeah, we have respect for all these hard workers and all that. Pay them more. Show it like that, and don't. Exactly. They are just kind of hypocrites, man, over here in the government, in my opinion, man. They're gonna applaud for those people right now. I'm like, you better pay them more instead of applaud for them after you fuck them over for years, you know.
That's what I was thinking, mate. We've got the NHS over here, and every Thursday at 8 p.m. we clap for the NHS outside. And I was chatting about it with my family today, and I was like, of course we're going to clap, we're going to show our support. But do you want to know really how to support and show our support to these hard workers, the real heroes of the nation? Pay them more.
Yeah.
Don't make false promises and we'll pay them after the coronavirus situation, or we'll give them breaks after the... No. Pay them now. Starting from tomorrow. I know it's harder, right? It's easier said than done, right? Obviously there's different things you've got to go through in it. But they could easily do it. They can afford to pay all these workers, these NHS workers, or people in the Netherlands or equivalent of this in the States, tons more money, and they deserve it. They're the real heroes of the nation. If it wasn't for them, we'd be in turmoil right now. And I think you'd agree with me there, wouldn't you? We'd be in shambles.
I agree, man. But man, I also said, man, with me delivering mail, people are like, man, it's great that you're still doing your work, you know, and that kind of stuff. I was like, dude, if anyone is gonna applaud for me for putting a letter in a mailbox, I square hit him on the face. Don't applaud for me, man. It's just my work. I'm just doing it. You know, don't applaud for me. It's just weird, you know. I mean, it's just weird times overall. And we have to also with before you go into a store with a card or something or whatever, they're gonna spray everything before. It's just very weird. I mean, never had that. I think nobody has ever. It's pretty much. I said to my mother earlier today. It's pretty much like it's like World War without the war.
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty much how I feel about it. So yeah.
Exactly, man. It's like we're having to ration and we're having to kind of stay inside and things like that. But there's no war going on. But it's being treated as a world war, and it's that's the best way to put it, actually. Yeah, no. I know a lot of people who have to work from home, or can't work at all because of the lockdown. My mother's class is a key worker, so she has to go to work. My father's a key worker, so he has to go to work. So a lot of the time it's just me and my brother in the house, which if you have any siblings, you know, doesn't end up too well when you've got a sibling, let alone when you're cooked up in the house all day. But yeah, I think it's we don't have any of the spraying when you go into the shop or that. I haven't been to the shop personally since lockdown, but from what I'm told with my family and that who go, it's just the same thing really. You grab your shopping trolley, you go. A lot of people are just using their own bags, but they're keeping the 2 meter distance, which is quite hard to do in the aisles, but they're doing it. There's a lot of gloves and hand sanitizer, and you see it when I'm walking down the high street and that to go get things from my parents sometimes. Not a lot, guys, just in case you thought I was breaking down lockdown rules. I'm not. But there's people in way more layers than usual, gloves, scarves all the way up to past their noses, and it's a bit funny really. You see people with plastic bottles in their head, and I'm getting quite a good laugh at it, to be honest. Like it's quite funny what people are going out wearing. But yeah, no, it just shows it's quite a serious thing. It needs to be taken seriously. I think most countries, to be honest, who have been hit with it, even countries that haven't been hit with it, have to go on lockdown, full lockdown, including Sweden, including Netherlands and things, because I think you need to preempt it. You need to stop it before it hits.
Yeah, I agree. You know what's funny? I sometimes I order food via like an app, and they are like, you can't pay now with money, but you have to pay via, how do you say that?
Card.
Yeah, via card. But the thing is, I always like to give a tip to the people who give me my food. So as like they're ringing the door, and then they're putting the bag over there, and then they step like 2 feet back, 3 feet back, and they're like, "There's the food." I was like, "Thank you." I said, "But I want to give you a tip. I have like a €2 coin over here." And they're like, "Yeah, give it to me, give it to me." Like, they don't care, just give it to me. That's like, okay, cool, But man, I saw one time, and I was pretty shocked by that. There was a guy. He also delivers food. And he's like, I got a total of tips today of €3. That's like £2.50 for you. €3. I like €3. What the hell? I give €2 tip, and I think that's okay. That's not a lot, but that's something, If you get €2 from everybody you deliver by, you have a nice
sweet tip.
Yeah, exactly. But that dude got €3 in one day. I was like, man, people are cheap.
Yeah, people are just being very cautious during this time, saving money, saving everything like that. Same thing with us when we ordered we had a Domino's last week, the pizza place, and then they're obviously only letting you, they're not letting you collect. I don't think it's all delivery.
Yeah.
And when they leave it at your door, they leave it, then they knock, then they go, and they leave it on like a wee it's almost like a cardboard box, but it's like it springs up a bit, and your thing sits on it. So obviously it's not like they're actually fully touching it, and they're all in gloves, and so they're just taking full precautions and stuff. But they have the option to give a tip, and obviously we give the tip on the app and things like that. But yeah, people being quite tight with money due to the COVID-19. It's understandable. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The government over here are only paying, I think, 80% out of people's wages. So I mean, 20% doesn't sound like a lot, but to a lot of people, that's the difference between, going out for the weekend or paying rent and things like that. And keeping their family afloat. So I understand why people are saving their money. I mean, I'm doing the same. I'm not spending as much as I usually do, but I know a few friends who are doing constant online shopping nowadays, which it doesn't seem too healthy when they tell me about their bank accounts. But
you saw the CD I bought, man. I bought this one, huh? I don't know if you see it. Look at the CD, man. The print on it. I laughed my fucking ass off.
What CD is that?
That's Outkast, Southern Playalistic Cadillac Music.
Oh, how did I notice that was Outkast? It's because it was a reflection on the emblem. I couldn't see. Outkast are good, man. Outkast. I wouldn't say they're one of my favourites, but I think Andre 3000 is one of the best to ever do it. Personally.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree.
I mean, I think that's how I was going to wrap up, because we've kind of said we're going to do Euro MMA. Apologies to our listeners. We've touched on PFL, Outkast towards the end of it, everything here, haven't we?
Yeah, of course. But yeah, there is, I mean, we can discuss Euro MMA because we have to discuss Euro MMA, but there was some breaking news, and I think we definitely should have talked about it, and we did. So that's that, and I just hope people liked it. I think that's the most important. We love the feedback. If you have feedback for us, just let us know. Also, EuroMMAniacs, I think that is a pretty fun name. I think you have the MMA in it. That's why we came up with it. And just give us some feedback, what you think about the show. We're always there for improvement. We always want to listen to you guys, and I think that's we have to grow in it as well. This is the second show we do with each other, and we enjoy doing it. And just let us know what you think. And, only can get better from now on. I think we have to grow in it, like I said, and I'm very happy to be a part of this, and really cool to talk to Steven all the time. So yeah.
Same, yeah. No, I think it's just our second show in, so we're just easing ourselves into it, and there's not a lot to talk about in the fight world when it comes to actually fighting, which is why we might seem like we're talking about different topics. But I'm glad to be here with Marcel. one of the best in the game, and any type of feedback's obviously nice feedback. Give us harsh feedback if you need to, but nothing too nasty. If you don't like my accent, that isn't really feedback, for example. You know what I mean? That's just part of me. That's part of the package. Take it or fucking leave it. Nah, I'm only joking around. But yeah, no, we take feedback and we appreciate it. So please just pop us a comment if you like the episode or if there's anything you'd like to see us talk about next week. And so just before we round off, I'm Stephen Rae. You can catch me over at the Body Lock, where I do a lot of writing. As of last week, I've now joined the Scrap News. Go give them a little search up and read some articles on there. And as you know, I'm co-host of the Loudmouth MMA Network, EuroMMAniacs. I think that's how I'm pronouncing it.
Yeah. Man.
So, Marcel, do you want to let the listeners know one last time where they can find you?
MMA DNA, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and my personal account, BigMarcel24 on Twitter, Instagram. Always like to discuss with you guys, and a little bit less fight announcements than I hoped, guys. I mean, there was a little bit more last 3 days, but there will be less in a couple of days, couple of weeks coming. So let's just discuss some MMA. Always good, and some random bullshit.
Right. Well, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you the same time next week for our next episode.